Good afternoon and good morning and good evening to everyone who's watching right now. Kahit saan man po kayo, kahit anong oras, welcome again to the Trainers Lounge, the show where we talk about anything and everything about L&D. Well, for this episode, I'm quite excited. It's a bit close to my heart. It has something to do with one of my passions when I was younger and until now na ginagawa ko siya pag may time. I'm talking about theater. And today we're going to talk about applying theories of improvisational theater into an organizational setting. And I know it has helped me through the years, no, nung naging teacher na ako, nung naging trainer na ako. I still use some strategies, some tips, some exercise even that I learned from my theater days. And today we're going to be joined by Miss Monica Cruz to talk about and to share her insights and expertise about this subject. Now, before we move on, we would like to thank everyone for tuning in. And if you have missed our previous episodes, don't worry, they're all available on YouTube and on Facebook. You can go to our Facebook page at Circle Logical Group and CLDP Philippines, and also for our YouTube channel, Circle Logical Group, and just search Trainers Lounge. And also, we are now available in Spotify. Okay. And well, without further ado, let's get to know our trainer for today. Miss Monica Cruz has been performing with Spit Manila, Manila's premier improvisational group, since 2006. She is a founding member and teaching artist at Third World Improv, the first learning institution dedicated to improvisational theater in the Philippines. She has experience in both performance and applied improvisation in various cities in the Philippines. She has also has done this all around the world. Outside improv, Monica is a certified WeCanvas consultant, a facilitator for management strategies and team journeys, an interior designer, and yes, Aunt's wife and motherhood. So let's meet our trainer for today. There you go. Hello, Miss Monica.
Hello. Hi,
There you
Kevin.
And
Hello.
how are you? How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you for asking. Wow, as I've mentioned earlier, I'm excited to talk about this. This has been, well, a passion of mine since I was younger. When I was in elementary, I was already performing kahit ano yan, singing, dancing, and then when I got into college, and I was fortunate enough to be joined in a theater group, and ayun, nakapag-perform and this and that. But what I'm more excited about is how we can apply the theater
Yes.
strategies, exercises, or knowledge that we did or do until now and apply it in the world of L&D. But
Yes.
before we go forward, Miss Monica, we would like to know more about you.
Sure.
Well, first off, how did you get into L&D?
Okay. So I got into L&D because I was an actor first. So
Mm,
we would be hired as consultants for and to do role plays for specific roles and various training activities. So for example, we would play a boss, an irate client, somebody that the customer would have to deal with, whether it is in customer service or HR activities. So that's how I started initially. And until I have learned with specifically with the training groups with whom we would do these role plays. Ano? So, kumbaga, it was an organic move. So eventually learning how to do the facilitation and the training part, the learning part of that, and not just play specific roles, but to take an active participation in the learning of the participants. So that's where it started.
So when you say you were first doing acts, not
Yes.
necessarily as the facilitator or as the
Oh
subject matter
no.
expert. Ah, I see. So
No. Actor
parang
talaga.
actor lang talaga na kinukuha for the skit. Okay, I see. And
Yes.
then you kind of saw the world of L&D and parang, oh, okay, this is something that I can do as
Yeah.
well.
It was something that I wanted to do because it felt just so close to each other, both practices. So how it started was there would be a huge program of which us as actors would be part of only, no, like what I mentioned earlier. And then so we do very specific roles depending on what they want to develop. So we might actually be just planted, so the participants don't know that we are actors. Participants think that
Oh,
we are customers, that
okay.
we are, the boss from overseas, the boss who is difficult to talk to, parang they're very, it's in the script. But of
Oo,
course, there would
oo.
be a lot of improvised, acting along the way kasi you don't know how the participant would react. But there are some points that we would have to hit. So for example, I need to be an annoying person. What does that mean? So parang on the, for example, if it's an onboarding process,
Mhm.
so the assessors would see, oh, how did the participant respond to this kind of of
Oh.
stimulus. So parang ganon. So there be different roles for us to play. So that's, and then yun. So it kind of meshed well na parang, oh, so I think I want to be involved in the learning part also. So that's where the growth started and never looked back. I still do role plays, by the way.
Ayun. Well, that's good to hear naman, 'di ba? At least the passion for the performing arts is still there naman. Syempre, hindi pwedeng mawala naman 'yun eh.
Mm-mm.
But was there someone who guided you or like you look up to as a mentor?
In this regard, I'd say Spit, my
Mm.
group with whom I have been doing this since 2006, we got into that role play thing together also. Some of us are also doing L&D work as well currently with Third World Improv. So we've been together.
Mm.
It's a marriage of, it's my longest relationship, Kevin. My longest relationship.
I see, I see. Wow. Well, that's good to hear. At least there were people already in
Oh,
the industry that
yes.
were guiding you. Say, at least hindi mahirap yung
Mm-mm.
transition mo into this industry ka nga. And then well, once you got into L&D, was there any notable moments na parang sobrang challenging? Do you still remember or do you remember a certain point na ang hirap pala, ang hirap nito, things like that?
Oh, yes. Especially when we entered the pandemic and everything had to be transitioned online.
Mm-hmm.
So that was particularly challenging in a way that when I would conduct and design my programs, it's always very interactive, very game based, no? So there are lots of
Uh,
games, play based learning, and all of that. And it was difficult to transition to the online, not having all the senses present. So, and this is specific to applied improv theater because
mm,
of course performance is a different thing. But yeah, I think I would say I would like to say that we have successfully triumphed that challenge. But if I were to pick a particularly big challenge during the past 2 years, it would have to be giving it was for a global group.
mm-hmm.
So there were
Quite
different
big.
nationalities involved. Tapos ano pa siya, so we're here in this box. And there were different levels of technological difficulties
Ayun
also,
lang.
'di ba? People dropping off and all of that, and there was a language barrier and all of that. And you know um uh, I'm sure a lot of L&D practitioners may have experienced this. There are different
Experiences as well.
accents, no? How
Ayun pa.
everybody would speak English differently. It's different. And then, yun, naitawid naman. I love to say that there were about, it wasn't a very big group. It was about 50 participants of different nationalities. Siguro dalawa lang yung Pilipino doon.
Ah,
But of course, I was with my all Filipina team,
okay.
and that was good. Yeah, so lots of learnings also from there.
Ayun. Wow, that's good to hear. Parang ang challenging nga naman nun. But now, going from the difficult one, what was like the most memorable naman in terms of parang it's a good thing. It's the most best experience that you've had in this industry?
Oh, well, marami. Marami. Siguro that I give a favorite. Of course, I have a lot. One of them would be this was a series we did a learning series for
Mhm.
a group, a leadership team, and every so parang we the learning sessions were spread out across a period of 1.5 months, or it's about a few weeks interval in between. And
Mhm.
then you'd see and hear how much they appreciate the lessons from before because they would articulate it na parang, oh, I wasn't listening. Oh, I need to listen. I need to focus. Parang they were actually articulating the lessons from before.
Mhm.
And then at the end of the series, like a different team from when we started. That was wonderful.
I see. Wow. Okay. And well, it might be sad to hear, but I believe Mr. Jeff Garcia, one of our CLDP graduates, said before that this industry is a thankless industry sometimes. So it's good
Oh,
to see, diba? It's good to see when you or it's good to receive rather compliments or thanks from our participants. Pero yun
yes.
nga, it's one of the sad realities of this industry. But
That's
as
true.
as I've mentioned, pag nakuha mo naman yun, pag natanggap mo yun, it's one of the best feelings as well.
Oh, yeah. I want to add also pala, Kevin,
Mhm.
siguro, kasi nga, like I mentioned, ano, marami akong favorite moments. Another feedback would be, I enjoyed so much. I'm going to bring this positive energy with me to work at
Oh,
home.
diba?
So when you hear
Diba?
that, parang, ay, so all the puyat is worth it. All the,
It's all worth it. Oo, yun nga. Ang sarap. Parang yun nga, okay, yung preparations mo, ganito. Parang worth it, even a simple comment or gesture such as that.
yeah, yes,
All
that's
right.
true,
Well,
that's true.
thank you so much for sharing those experience and letting us get to know you better. And now let's get to our topic for the day. And as I mentioned, applying the theories and of improvisational theater into organizational settings. Now, we have some set questions here. Let's start with the first one. Now, when we talk about this or theater, it's performance eh. And ako
Yes.
siguro, I also like to say na when you teach, when you are training, you are performing as well. So, how about you? How would you
Mm-mm.
liken training or facilitation to a performance?
So, ang sinasabi natin, di ba, Kevin? Lights, camera, action.
Action.
Literally, in this pandemic setup, you have your lights, you have your camera before you go action, no? Para without these things in our setup ngayon,
Mm-hmm.
wala eh, no? And of course, there are very similar practices also, and behaviors and mindsets that these two are very much aligned with, in a sense that I need to be able to serve my audience. So
Uh-huh.
both as from an actor's perspective, you are serving your audience with your show, but from an L&D perspective, you are serving your participants with the lesson. So parang how you deliver it is just different, but in
Mm-hmm.
essence, you are pretty much on a stage in the same way. 'Di ba? Parang so in here, ang stage natin ay ang ating learning sessions. Wala siyang curtains, it doesn't have the orchestra or any of those things. But
Mm-hmm.
if you consider it that way, well, I would consider it that way, then it also brings me to that mindset na, oh, okay, so then there is kind of a persona that comes out as well. No? Parang it's not me as a nanay.
Oo,
It's me
oo.
as, 'di ba? Parang there's a different, it's like a performance, parang performance level, di ba what you call it? So when you're in an L&D session,
Mm-hmm.
performance level ka rin, no? May bato ng boses, may posture,
Oo.
all of
Mhm,
that.
mhm. Ayun, oo nga naman. Well, just to share as well from my end with this, I remember when I transitioned into teaching or rather studying to become a teacher. IT kasi ako dati. Eh.
Mm,
'Di ba layo? IT ako
yes.
originally. IT ako originally when I started my college years. But that was during the time na nagti-theater din ako.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I said I don't want to do IT anymore, parang hindi ko nakikita yung sarili ko, I decided to go for my first choice or for first passion talaga for my career, which is teaching. And pinayagan ako. And then when I started doing yung mga lesson, mock lessons, like they
Mm-hmm.
say, parang magtuturo ka sa mga kaklase mo or sa mga professors mo, it's a bit of a humble brag, let's say, pero it kind of went naturally to me kasi parang feeling ko, okay, pag perform parang performance lang siya. I don't have to be
Yeah.
nervous, I don't have to be so flustered about what I'm
Right.
going to do kasi I've been doing this before.
Right.
Going
Yeah.
going in front of hundreds of people na a theater pa naman. It's not like cinema na pag nagkamali, cut,
Right.
retake.
Ito
Mhm.
hindi.
Theater is nagkamali ka, you have to own it or you have to find a way how to get over it. So, yung parang ganong strategies or parang skill sets ko that I learned, nadala ko sa pagtuturo. And ever since, I
Yeah.
don't really think about na, tinatamad ako magturo, I don't have the energy. At least, no, we're still human. We feel those things pa rin naman eh, di ba? We can't be 100% all of the time sa ating pagtuturo or pagtitrain. But if you have that experience or
Yep.
mindset na it's a performance, you can erase muna what you feel, then go out there, become the best of what you can be at that time. Ayun, parang at least yun lang yung
Yes.
minimal eh, di ba?
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, alam mo,
Mhm.
Kevin, speaking of different training backgrounds, I didn't even take up theater in college. I am a
Mm,
fine arts major. So
okay.
initially, I took up fine arts major in industrial design, and then I took up interior design after that. I don't practice industrial design anymore.
Mhm.
I do interior design though,
Oh.
on side by side with my facilitation career. And syempre, theater's always there. Improv theater, forever na yan.
Oo, nandyan na nga naman yan. Oh, well, moving forward naman with the behaviors natin, no, as L&D and as performers before or now, what are the
Mm.
similar behaviors, no, that actors have to trainers and facilitators?
I would bunch them up into two categories. So,
Mhm.
professional and passionate. So, professional because you are on time, you communicate clearly, you work in a collaborative manner with your clients and your participants, and then passionate because 'di ba, like what you mentioned earlier, this is what I really want to do eh. Parang,
Mhm.
and then I'd really love to pour myself into it, and there would be a lot of times when it doesn't feel like work, especially kagaya ng napag-usapan natin kanina. If you get feedback, if you get positive feedback, or if there's a delivered change, there's appreciation for what you do. But at the same time, if you know that you're able to pay it forward because it is something that is so personally close to you, and nakabigay ka ng, any, could be joy, could be hope, could be extra knowledge, parang it's something that carry so much longer. And
Mhm.
then syempre professionalism, it's what ties you to your clients and makes sure that they get you again.
Oo nga naman. Sayang nga naman, 'di ba? Kung
Syempre
yung
kailangan yun.
experience nila, kung yung experience nila sa'yo, pangit, wala ka ng ano. But yeah, I kind of get that. I think also some of the behaviors that we, is being, what's the right term? Hindi naman being on our toes all the time, eh. Pero siguro, we are good on our feet na in terms of if something
Yes.
unexpected happens,
Oh yes.
happens, we
Like
can,
that.
oh, di ba ganun? Well, if something unexpected happens, parang we're prepared for it. Kasi we have a motto we have a motto in theater eh. The show must go
Must
on.
go on. It
Di ba?
must go on.
I think
Yes.
that's one of the sentences that has helped me in my career every time na may gagawin akong bago. The show must go on. So
Oo.
regardless of what happens, magkamali man ako, kahit na
Yes.
prepared ako, I have to do
Yes.
this. And
Yes.
it alleviates the fear na, baka magkamali ako, baka magkamali ko. But
Mm,
rather, magkakamali ako, but I have to do something about it.
right.
Nagiging ganun siya. Parang
Absolutely.
self-hypnosis, let's say. Parang ganun, parang ganun. Ayun.
And Kevin, hindi lang
Mhm.
yung sarili kong pagkakamali that I need to catch. It's not just us,
Ay,
but
oo.
also technology, no? Nako, hindi sa face-to-face, walang projector, walang LED, the
Anong
mics are
gagawin
not
ko?
working, parang, I asked for a wireless mic, but they gave me a corded mic, parang, okay, so how do I spin this so that make it work for me, and then therefore working for our participants, parang, how do we navigate itong mga unexpected moments, and we have a lot.
Mhm.
Alam mo yan. We have a lot, no? So parang how do we navigate very quickly without losing poise? Syempre, professional ka pa rin. Parang,
Professional. Hindi ka pwede magpanik.
pero hindi nag-work. Hindi nag-crash yung laptop ko.
Oo,
Di ba?
diba?
Hindi nag-work.
Well, kung ganyan lang, we need a whole day or more to tell our stories or our
Totoo yan.
experiences with that. Pero yun nga, at least, diba, we already have that mindset that something will happen badly
Yes.
and at least we're prepared. Actually, pinalitan na nga namin yun sa grupo namin eh. Hindi na siya the show must go on. The show must go wrong na. Like we already expect something to go wrong each time we perform on stage. Hindi na yung,
Ganda na.
'di ba? The show must go wrong na siya. May magkakamali at may magkakamali. So we have to
Meron.
prepare for that. Ayan. So I think that is one of the siguro yung mga trainers or facilitators na hindi talaga nag-theater, unconsciously they have that attitude as well. They have that behavior as
Yeah.
well that they
Mhm,
prepare for
mhm.
the worst. Or Murphy's law, ika nga. If something bad
Yes.
or something is going to happen on going to the bad direction, it's going to happen. Parang ganun.
Mm-mm. Yeah.
Now, well, speaking of preparations, what are the similar preparations naman natin as an actor and also for trainers or facilitators?
So, the preparations, syempre, this is when you have already done the preliminary work with your clients, and you're already going to deliver your program. So, my own preparations, especially, you know what? I wouldn't even differentiate yung preparations ko sa live shows, live facilitation, and then online shows and facilitations. I kind of have a ritual na makeup muna ako, okay? Makeup muna ako, okay? Hindi ako pwede kausapin sa mga panahon na to. I just need like 15-20 minutes. I'm gonna fix my face, fix my hair. And then a minute to, collect myself, whether it is online. Actually, Kevin, ito rin yung setup ko pag nag-show ako eh. Pag nag-show kami ng spit, ito rin yun. I have my lights here, I have my camera here, I have my water. So, similar preparation for it. I want to be fully present with what I am doing. So, I want to make sure that the kids are busy, whether show siya or learning. And, parang, okay, busy sila. Syempre, every now and then, work from home tayo, they come here and they ask for stuff. But, okay, alam nila yon, but, there's something going on and, di ba, wala ka na didirig, di ba? dalawang bata yan na hindi mo nakikita. But yun, so there's that preparation. But also, syempre, not just your technology in a sense, you have your slides ready, you have your chat ready, you have briefed your team also. So kung show context naman ito, may briefing din kayo, 'di ba? Tayo sa theater before, there's
definitely.
a briefing also na okay, this is what we're going to do, this is call time, this is show time. So there are really a lot of similarities in that way. Kaya nga, like I mentioned earlier, it felt like such a natural transition parang from acting to L&D. Parang hindi siya masyadong maraming change. And then yung how you are prepared for it na, okay, I'm going to give you my performance level always. No? So may ganun din no? Na yun yung the behaviors that I liken to both of them. It just goes back to being professional and being
Okay. Well, actually, nung ako naman, when I started doing this industry na, nung career na siya, actually, hindi na ako nag-aaral
Ooh.
lang, nung nagtuturo na talaga ako, it also had the same feeling eh. Tama ka na, parang same lang talaga eh. Mag-iiba lang yung
Right?
ginagawa mo. Like,
Oo.
when you were performing, you're looking at your script, but now you're looking
Yeah.
at your lesson plan.
Yes. Diba?
Parang ganun siya eh. Before, you're thinking about when to use the props, when to show them, when to hide them.
Yeah.
But now, you're thinking about when to use your learning materials, your
Yes,
slides,
your tools, diba?
your tools in teaching and in
Oo.
training. So, sabi ko, okay, very familiar lang talaga. Siguro, just the lack of a director.
Yeah,
Parang
that's
ganon.
true.
Siguro a
That's
lack of
true.
director. But at the same time, hindi rin eh. Kasi if you have a team, no, if you're working with a team, your group itself, no, or you yourself become the director na okay,
Mm-mm.
ganito yung gusto ko mangyari, ganito yung pasok nitong part na to. If they ask this question, this is how I'm going to answer it, things like that. So yeah, I believe the preparations are quite similar, if not
Quite similar,
100%.
no? Yes, oo. Ang dami talagang aligned eh. Na,
Mhm.
yeah, ang dami aligned na things that you need to do for both. I suppose it's maybe if you just view it from a different profession, baka may similarities din eh, no? You
Mhm.
just really contextualize it to what you're going to deliver eh, no? Parang, yun, yeah. So, yeah. Just really
Actually,
contextualizing it.
mhm. Actually, hindi lang din naman siya with theater people eh. Even if you come from a dancing background, I think it's the
Mm-hmm.
same thing eh. If you are a performer in general, you get used to facing people. You get used
Yes.
to knowing what's going to happen. Parang prediction of what's going to happen. And I think a lot of careers, not just L&D, a lot of careers that has something to do with facing people, yung skill sets mo dun would transfer naturally, di ba?
Yeah, oo. I
Actually,
agree.
when I was in a school, when I was starting with my career, bago pa ako mag L&D, I can already figure out sino yung mga teacher na, ito performer nung high school, sabi ko. Ganyan.
Yes. Oo.
Etong teacher na to may experience sa performing arts in one way or another. Kasi you can see it eh, you can feel it eh. And yeah, the similarities are just big or just large enough for us to transition or apply them naturally
Yes,
into our
oo.
career.
Mm-mm.
Now, we're talking about improvisational ngayon, and sometimes, not just sometimes, but most of the time, pinag-iisipan natin dyan is the agility of our minds, of our bodies to
Right.
adapt, di ba? Now, we also have something, not just yung physical natin na pagtuturo or pagtitrain or facilitate, but also our lesson plans or curriculum. Now,
Yes.
what is curriculum agility? Ayan. So, share natin with our viewers, what is curriculum agility?
Ayan, sige. So, curriculum agility is being able to deliver your content, being able to adjust and be flexible enough for you to accommodate your learners' learning styles, no? So learners'
Mhm.
learning styles. So if for example you have a very rigid lesson plan na talagang hindi to pwedeng galawin. But if the engagement of your participants differ because you are set on following what's written on the paper, then baka hindi natin ma-meet yung learning targets natin, ano. Whereas if you are agile in your curriculum and you are flexible enough to adjust some of your activities, some of your tools maybe, in order for them to learn better, to get the message better, then that's really what it's all about in the end. Ang, 'di ba, ang natutuhan din naman natin is ang hindi lang pwede magbago is yung learning objectives mo eh.
Oh.
No, so as long as you have them already set, kasi ito rin naman yung based on your TDNA. So this is what you have, after
Mhm.
study, after all the interviews or your FGDs, etc., with your client and yung mga stakeholders mo. Pagdating na sa output mo ng program, pwede mo na siya ma-adjust as long as yung objectives don't change, no? The outputs don't change. So for
Mhm.
example, we had the program and natapos siya ng maaga. Pumped up yung participants mo. Dagdagan mo
Gusto
ng
pa.
something. Di ba? Gusto pa,
Gusto
sige,
pa.
bigyan mo ng something. Bakit? Wala naman nagsabi na hindi pwede, right?
Oo.
If it means that you're going to take the level further to make sure that it's really engraved, mind, body, and soul, no,
Oo.
holistically. If it means it's really going to get the lesson across, then by all means, make the necessary adjustments. Be flexible with your lesson plan.
Mhm.
Basta, ironclad ang iyong objectives, and of course you're going to still make sure that your activities are aligned to it. No, it's not suddenly, ay, gusto ko kayo mag-activity because gusto ko. Syempre hindi naman
Hindi
ganon, di
naman
ba?
pwede
Of
'yun.
course it's still aligned to our objective, so be flexible enough in order to accommodate the different learners' needs. Minsan, yung mga quiet, parang shucks, quiet sila. Sige nga, lagay tayo ng parang
Ganito.
journaling exercise, di ba ganon? Or a Mentimeter exercise, a chat exercise, di ba? Parang
Mhm.
sometimes, you check for the temperature also of the room. Parang shucks, napagod ata sila. So, kung may icebreaker ka, that's a little physical and you feel that they got a little bit tired, even if it's not in your lesson plan, then okay, maybe we can have deep breathing muna tayo. Okay, let's go back to our present moment so that we can do the rest of the session. We're more alert that way. So really a lot of awareness then to your
Mhm.
participants na you're really watching out for their physical needs also. Hindi lang yung kailangan nilang ma-meet in terms of your learning goals.
All right. Well, actually, when it comes to agility naman, I think na-test talaga yan sa ating mga L&D as a whole nung nagka-pandemic.
Yes,
Kasi,
grabe.
I mean, well, yes, online learning has been done for quite a while since before the pandemic pa.
Mm-mm.
Pero for us to all of a sudden transition to it without prior preparations na for
Oo.
example, meron kang training calendar for the year, di ba? That was March if I'm not mistaken. Yes,
March,
March.
yes. Mm-mm.
March 2020, that will be forever engraved in my life.
Forever.
Na okay, I have this training calendar. These are the activities. These are the locations that I have in mind. These are the materials, props that I'm going to use. And then all of a sudden, bam, you have to deliver still the
Yep.
training with the same objectives, but you have to do it online, face to face. You have to do it in a Zoom meeting, in a G meeting, or
Yes.
whatnot, di ba? I think
And
that
MS
was
Teams, my God,
ay
nahihimatay
MS
talaga
Teams
ako
pa.
doon.
You were using MS Teams. Okay.
Nahimatay talaga ako doon.
Bakit parang hindi maganda yung review ng MS Teams? Sorry po hindi naman po
Nahirap
sa
ako doon.
pero parang nahirapan ng MS Teams. But anyways, ayun. As I was saying, di ba, that's when you are, I think, whether you liked it or not, during that time, na-test yung curriculum agility
Oo.
mo. Like, how would you transform this training plan that you have already in mind na pang face-to-face and adapt it into an online session?
I had a
And
lot of help for my experience kasi for
okay.
Third World Improv, it really was a group effort for us to be able to transition our programs, whether they were for performance or for corporate. We had a team and shout out to Bibay de la Razabal and Aaron Cristobal.
Yun.
So it was really such a it was a process, no? Kumbaga parang we L&D'd ourselves. 'Di ba? Parang okay, so these are the tools that are available to us and so this is what we're going to do. Ito yung objectives natin. How do we not touch it but how do we deliver the same outcomes but still in this setting, parang how do we, ang tinatawag namin sa improv kasi, how do we yes end it? Kumbaga, how do we build on this challenge that was given to us? And so definitely, I had a lot of support from both spit and third world improv. So it was a difficult transition, but it was not impossible kasi there were like-minded individuals who really wanted the best for, who wanted to deliver still the best for our community, to the best serve our community, to best serve our clients also, and to keep innovating. That was really quite the experience. One for the books, parehas lang dyan sa March 2020. Hindi ko rin makakalimutan yan.
Di ba? I see. All right. Well, curriculum agility now. Let's talk about why is it important naman. So, kasi it might be new to some L&D as well, no? I mean, they might have been doing it na unconsciously, but
Right.
not aware about it. But so, let's talk about why is it important.
It's important because ang objective natin as L&D professionals is to make sure that our participants learn what needs to be learned. No, it's not about bringing magbuhat ng sarili nating bangko or anything kasi shocks, ang galing kong trainer, ang galing kong facilitator, or ang ganda ng lesson plan ko, etc., etc. It's really for the service of our learners.
Mhm.
So if we insist on not making the necessary adjustments on the fly, then it becomes about us. No, it doesn't become about our learners when this is what we're here for, diba? Parang we want to serve them. We want to make sure that they get the lessons and they perform their tasks outside our sessions the way they should or the way it was intended. So parang yun, it becomes about them. So when we insist on what's written, then it becomes about us. Di nawala na yung purpose natin. Diba? So it's really always going back to really making sure that they get the lessons across. So if they are, diba yung mga adult learning styles, Kevin?
Ayun.
Diba? Parang, ay, shucks, accommodator to. Kailangan ko siya i-accommodate. Or assimilator to. Kailangan ma-assimilate. Paano pag in the course of your own preparation, sometimes there are some things that you really don't foresee kasi each participant unique yan diba? And we respect
Definitely.
the uniqueness of each one. So if it means we'll give another activity para for this one person, then guess what, we'll do it. Diba? We will do it. Gagawin natin yan basta ma-hit natin ang objectives natin.
Ayun, I see. And on your end naman, how do you practice it? Are there certain exercises that you do every now and then, or some mental
Yes.
notes probably that you do?
Yes. Yes to both, no? So,
Yes to
because
both,
in
okay.
improv, malawak ang treasure chest ng improvisers pagdating ng activities, no? And it might actually be misconstrued with some other training professionals na icebreakers lang siya, maybe for game masters lang siya, etc. It might be misconstrued such, especially since improv is very heavily tied to comedy, no? So parang ay shucks, baka nagpapatawa, etc. It's a big, I wouldn't say misconception, but it's more, that's the level of understanding. And for a lot of people, yes, definitely improv has a lot to do with comedy, but it's not just that. But let's save that for another time. Ayan, pagdating ng how we practice curriculum agility, it's really being able to take out a specific activity which you didn't initially plan out for, na appropriate pala para sa audience na ito. So, minsan, meron kang, like what you mentioned kanina, alam ko tong teacher na to, performer to Alam ko tong teacher na to, tahimik to It's the same na when you're in from facilitator standpoint, na meron kang participant na feeling ko pwede ko ipag-perform to 'di ba? Feeling ko pwede ko ikaw nga, sige, i-demo mo. kahit wala sa
Okay.
usapan, di ba? You
Mm-hmm.
can, there are some participants who would be more than willing to be put on the spot. But it's a very, a delicate, recommend it. I wouldn't
Mahirap
recommend
kasi,
doing it,
oo.
no? Kung bago ka pa lang, di ba?
Ah,
But, to a trained eye, kikita mo if you listen for, they keep answering and, they keep making jokes. Okay, sige, gamitin natin yan. No? Gamitin
mm-hmm.
natin yan. I'm going to build on that. Then, okay, why don't you show us, no? Rather than just telling us there from your seat, then okay, then show us that this is how it's done. Yan. So, really pulling out from your arsenal of activities and putting it where it's appropriate.
Mm-hmm. And I think, sa akin naman, I think one of the things that you can also do is mag-imbak ka. Ayun. In a way na watch, read, listen to things that
Yes.
could help you. One of the things that have helped me with this is TEDx siguro. If you're familiar with TEDx, I
Absolutely.
think it's growing still now, no, yung TEDx.
Yes.
Listening to other people talk,
Yes.
listening to other people's view of things.
Yes.
Parang
Oo.
okay, so it might not directly help me in certain aspects, but still parang nagkakaroon ako ng imbak ng knowledge, ng
Yes.
ng strategies on my head na parang, uy, I watched this with TEDx, ito yung ginawa niya, things like that. So you can actually watch things, you can learn things naman na
Yes.
not necessarily for you to learn them, but rather parang nagkakaroon ka lang ng exposure.
It's true. I want to add lang, Kevin, in addition to TEDx, Harvard Business Review is so good. So there are lots of articles, very timely as well. So if you're not if you can only commit to just reading a few, short articles a day, kasi syempre, busy,
Oh, yeah.
So sometimes you don't really have time to sit through, go through something na tuloy-tuloy. So you can, I'll read it later. So I'd say that one. I see also a lot on Psychology Today. Madami.
Madami, yeah.
Oo. And, I just like to point out also, one of the gifts the pandemic has brought me is the online learning. Okay? Because hindi ka nagpa-park, walang traffic, literally from your bed to the, to the session. In fact, yung course natin na CLDP,
It was online.
sobrang laking tulong yun for me na I didn't need to travel or anything like that. It was just, in my house and if I may also add, I had, like I mentioned earlier, I had tremendous support from Third World Improv, and in terms of us being able to serve our community, but serve ourselves as well. Also, we have dito and
Okay.
TWI stands for Third World Improv. So, Tweacher ang tawag namin sa mga nagpa-facilitate ng improv. So, you have Tweacher's Lounge where if you learn something, whether it is performance or for applied theater, the teachers are free to take it. So, we will, we'll update each other, best practices, etc., etc. And then in my other group naman with whom I am engaged with also very frequently sa management strategies. We have what we call MGT Strat U. So what this is, they are learning sessions that are facilitated for the community first before they are actually rolled out to actual clients, to the public, etc. I try to attend them as much as I can, not only to be able to interact with my fellow facilitators, to be able to, touch base, but also to learn new things. So I think I'm very lucky also to be part of these two communities who feed my desire for learning.
Ayan.
And then at the service of our participants. Babalik na naman tayo.
Babalik naman siya doon eh. It goes full circle naman ulit doon eh. Okay, so
Yes.
would you like to repeat those two again para at least sa mga nanonood sa atin would search it up?
Yes, so they are Third World Improv and Management Strategies.
Yun, ayan. Well, I guess this will be our last question for today. Now, on your part, how do you create and sustain participant engagement naman? Especially online. Siguro yan, isa sa
Ay,
mga tips na hinihingi yan lagi eh.
okay. So, ask them to keep their videos on. If they
Mm.
can't, audio. If they can't keep their videos on, have the audio ready. Have a lot of questions, whether they are about the lesson or just how they're feeling. No?
Mhm.
Are you still awake? Give me
Ayun.
an emoji. Ganyan.
Oo nga
Kamusta
na.
ang energy natin? Give me a heart if you're still good. And crying if you're ready to cry. Hindi pa naman tayo maabot doon. But
Yeah.
lots of, hindi pa naman, di ba? But if, so lots of temperature checks, I feel, lots of breaks also, kahit 2 minutes lang, just for them
Mm.
to get water. Try to, although style din talaga to ng Third World Improv, our programs are really very activities-based, and they know this, our participants know this at the beginning. They have, they're briefed already. We're going to be discussing ideas. It's not only about us talking, but we will be asking you questions, and you're free to raise your hand to give your inputs or type in chat. So keep both, all channels active, and syempre mix the tools up. Lots of participants love mixing up the tools, whether they're tech tools or kahit pen and paper activity lang, no? Or kahit a bring me game, something like that. What's next to you? Diba? What is, diba? You grab the nearest item next to you and you'll be surprised. Halimbawa, ito, nagulat din ako, may ganito pala ako sa tabi ng aking table. Things like that. And then, let's get we can, debrief it also, include it in our discussion.
Okay. Kasi nga naman hindi mo ma-assure talaga yung interest eh. But one
Oo.
thing that you can control maybe is when they will participate. Ayun.
When they will participate, yes.
So siguro kahit na hindi, as a trainer, I don't think you can control their level of engagement talaga 100% na yung to the level that you want it to happen.
Yes, that's true.
Like, but at least you get to have them do something once in a while.
Yeah.
At least man yung pakonti-konting yun nagbi-build up eh.
Yeah, oo. So include it in your design, include it in your lesson plan that there is a space. You really sometimes have to pause for questions. You have to say it. Kahit sinabi mo naman na in the beginning, okay, so the floor is open for you to ask questions. They hardly do it, no? They don't do it. So you really have to, okay, lesson. Okay, stop. Are there any questions? And then, di ba? Or type it in the chat or send me a private message. So parang just make sure that there are as many open channels for them to communicate with you as possible. Just to make sure that they can participate, they can be shy about it, no? Tanggap naman natin yon. But they also need to know that you will accept kung nahihiya talaga sila, no? So, you can send me a message in private, ganun. Sometimes it gives them more confidence that way to address you directly rather than the
Iwasan
whole
ka
class.
nila, oo. Kesa din sa iwasan ka nila, namimilit lang siya, ganyan. They don't get the feeling that they're free to share rather than nararamdaman nila is napipilitan sila. I'm being told to do it instead of I want to do it, parang ganun. So okay, that's good thing. Ako naman siguro one of the things that we can also do is gauge the room always before we engage. No? Gauge the room, look around. Well, in this case, look at their videos, look at their faces. Para sa akin kasi the face will tell you a lot about how a person feels eh. When I conducted trainings on Zoom, titignan ko agad, okay, ito inaantok pa, okay, ito hindi pa nakasettle tong isang to. So at least I get to know where I will step in, anong level of engagement I can do. And then along the way, while you do the training, you also do that. Siguro mas madali ngayon kasi yung mga, well, if naka-open ang cameras nila, mas madali ngayon to check around the room kasi you can have it in one screen. Eh dati kung nasa classroom ka talaga, you really have to look around physically na
That's
okay.
true.
And sometimes hindi mo pa mapapansin yung mga nasa likod or yung mga nakatago na ano, or how they are feeling as of the moment. So I guess yun, gauge the room always, have a mental timer. Let's say na,
Yeah.
okay, start of the class, look around. Okay, kakatapos ko lang ng break, look around, how are they feeling, ganyan. What does their face tell me how they feel, parang ganon. So,
Body
just another tip.
language, no? Oo.
Oo. Well, ngayon, facial language muna tayo.
Facial language.
Is there such a thing? Pero ayun, sa facial ano muna tayo. Sa facial, and the eyes, ayun. Sabi nga nila, the eyes are the windows to the soul. Well, yun.
That's
I think that's one of the things that has helped me when I transitioned into training using online meetings. And still, it still works. Let's put it
that's
that
true.
way. Ayan. Well, I guess that's all of my questions for you, Miss Monica. Thank you so
Thank
much for
you.
joining us. I learned a lot, and it was nice looking back, no, sharing thoughts with a fellow actor. And
Yes.
I believe you have something to share with us.
Yes, I do, Kevin. Thank you so much. I would like to invite everybody, if you are interested to take improv theater for yourself. Ano ba to? Ano ba tong pinag-uusapan ni Monica and ni Kevin buong maghapon? Well, you can try it out for yourself. This is Third World Improv's Intro to Improv teaser class. So this is going to be a 2-hour class, and they are going to be on March 24, March 26, March 31, April 2, 7, and 9. And
Mhm.
you may register at bit.ly/𝑇WIGO-reg. But if you are ready to take it to the next level, you may take the full course of the joy of improv. And there are actually 2 schedules for this. So one is Thursday evenings. This is improv for beginners, and this is an 8-week session, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So it's Thursday evenings from 8 to 10 p.m. and it begins on April 21. So that's Thursday nights. Or there's also Saturday mornings. No,
Sessions.
Saturday mornings. Ay, mali po yung oras nito sa poster
Ay,
natin. Pasensya. See, the show will go wrong. Okay? So, morning po ito.
morning po siya,
And,
hindi siya
yes,
PM.
morning po
Okay.
siya.
But
And
still, it's
para,
8 to 10 a.m.
yes. So, you will need to go to our website. Okay, so www.improv.ph. So you will see all our schedules there as well. So yun po, Thursdays and Saturdays. But I highly recommend the Joy of Improv teaser class. No commitment po yan. Really fun. A fun break for your week. So highly recommended.
Ayan. So let's check
Thank you,
out Third
Kevin.
World Improv. I think the intro to improv teaser class is a good way for them to taste, ika nga, kaya nga
Yes.
teaser to taste the world of not just improv but theater as well, I think, no?
Absolutely.
Ayan.
And walang theater background required to join any
Ayun.
of these classes. Anybody is welcome.
Ayun. All right. So again, Third World Improv, they'll be having in their teaser class and their level 1. Tama ba? Level 1
Yes, level
or
1.
introduction classes. So check
Yes.
out their website and check out their posters for their schedule. So apologies po. Ayan, the show must go wrong nga. Mali yung nalagay
Yes.
naming poster dito sa Saturday. But anyways, ayan. Well, Miss Monica, again, thank you so much. I learned a lot. I learned a lot. Ang
Thank
sarap
you,
balikan.
Kevin.
Ang sarap
Thank you
balikan
so
ng
much.
World of Theater.
Uy,
Hopefully, we can
oo.
find another topic, no, that we can talk about here in the show. Well, for now, thank
Sure.
you so much and see you around. Have a nice day and have a nice day
Thank
to
you.
everyone. All right, and that was Miss Monica Cruz. Wow. The world of performing is really something that you will carry not just with your own passion but also in your career. If you build your confidence, if you build enough skills to do performing, I believe there's nothing that you can do in front of a crowd. Yeah, diba? If you're really used to performing and ngayon nasa L&D ka na or whatever industry you are in that has to do something with facing people, maning-mani na lang sa yan, sigurado. And, well, it's not too late to learn things, di ba? I think learning is a constant factor para sa atin. And like Third World Improv offers us, they have, or there are other channels there for you to learn the joys of performing, and picking up the skills and strategies that you can apply in the L&D industry. Well, that's it for today's episode. I hope you had fun as much as I did. Tune in the next time, only here in the show, where we talk about anything and everything about L&D. This is the Trainers Lounge. I'm Kevin. See you next time.